pig into 5 primals. And first thing we have to do is remove the head. Our particular pig came in split already. With the head, we're going to make head cheese out of that. We're going to brine that today. With the picnic ham, we're going to confit, and we're going to remove the trotters as well. But we're going to confit that picnic ham, which is right here, and then we're going to take the butt ham, the shoulder area, and we'll use that for sausage making and those types of things. Our pig came in with the kidneys attached. We're going to be removing those kidneys and soaking them in milk. And then the primals that we're going to divide into will be the picnic ham, the butt ham, which is up on the other side, the loin, and the rack, and the ham, and the belly. So first thing we want to do is we're going to take off the head here. We always want to start from head to tail, just because the way the animals are built, it's easier to cut through that way. So the first area that we're going to cut through right here, just like so. Get through that spine. Once we get through any meat or bone area, we want to use a nice long knife, and we want to take and we want to cut just like so, and remove that head. Okay, so we're going to take this. We've got some buckets over here. We're going to store things in. All right, so now the next thing we want to do is take a look at where we want to separate the butt and the picnic ham. Every animal has 13 ribs. We're going to count 3 ribs in, 1, 2, and 3, and that's where we're going to separate here. So what we want to do then is just slide this up like so we can get in there, get our saw, and again at the 1, 2, 3, third bone, we're just going to come across just like so. And we're just going to cut until we get through the bones. We're going to cut with our knife then down to the shoulder. Once we get down to the shoulder, we'll have to put the saw back on it. Okay, get down through there. And you can hear the saw cut through the shoulder, about an inch or less. Just like so. You don't want to saw too much. Use the weight to pull it apart. Set that there for a second, and then we'll get started on the other. But this would be the picnic ham, and this will be the butt ham. Okay, so we have that set in there like that. Now, before we start on the next part here, let's do a little cleaning here. We've got ours came with the kidney still attached. We're just going to take and cut that out of there like so. This kidney's been cut because that's what they do to test the animal for healthiness. They're looking inside that kidney to see if there's any abnormal signs or anything of that nature, to find out, to make sure that this animal has been healthy, and obviously it was healthy. We'll set that off to the side here. We've got some wonderful fat here that we'll just trim out. And this fat we can render down very slow on very low heat, and we can actually use it to produce our fat that we can use for the confit as well. Okay. All right. So then the tenderloin is right here, and let's clean this up a little bit. Get that out of the way. We have some skirt steak over here that we can cut off and get out of the way. Not much left of it. So then we have to make a decision. Are we going to make pork chop? If we're going to make pork chop, we'll take this whole loin, all the bones down, and do the separation. Or you can leave 2 bones behind for the loin half and the remaining half for the rack half. Okay. So what we want to do, and if we're going to make pork chops, and we're going to cut along the bones, we want to cut right along those bones so we get all the nice long bones to produce the pork chop. Another thing we can do too to help ourselves out is we can get this tenderloin out. That will help us to see things if we want, or we can leave it there and get it afterwards. I think I'll leave it afterwards. So to do this, if we're going to cut along the bone, all we have to do is adjust this, and we're using the weight of the animal to help us in our removal. Okay, so if we take our knife here and figure out where that last rib is, and it's right about here, we can take our knife actually, let's not do that cut yet. We want to take all of as much of this belly as we can when we do that. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to get the tenderloin out of there. I'm going to bring my knife right up along like so. And I'm going to take my cleaver here and just push down, just like so. Peel it right out of there. And now I can just pull it back. And I can cut it out just like so. And just set that in there. Okay. All right. So now we can see a lot better where we want to make that cut through. Okay. And the other thing we want to do before we get to that cut there is we're going to take the ham off. That's where I was messing up a little bit. And the ham, you have the hip bone and you have the tailbone here. And there's a little bit of belly here, so we're going to cut at an angle over here, and we're going to cut through here like that. So first thing I'm going to do is come with my knife a little bit. We want to keep as much of that belly there intact as possible. And then we're going to take our saw, so we don't lose that. And we're going to cut this just like that. Once we're through, come over here, and like I said, a little bit of an angle, and then cut down and let the weight of it just go ahead and help us out. Just like so. And we have our ham. Now, before we made that cut through there, what I wanted to do, trim up that fat a little bit there. In there. Okay, so we want to get the belly out first. So what we want to do is take our hand, put it in there. It's about 4 inches, and we're going to make a mark. So nice straight all the way across like so. Go right through the shoulder a little bit there. Again, just like so. What we want to do first is get through those ribs. Yeah. Once we're through like that, set that off to the side. And actually will help if we move our cutting board to the edge. And use that edge to try and get this to a nice straight cut. Just like so. Just using the edge to guide her. And we have our rib and belly. Now is where we can make that cut here. You might be remembering that when we cut up the lamb loin, we had one bone left. There is one soft bone on this side here when we divide this up. You can buy loins whole like this. You can buy what's called a center cut rack. Put this over here. And again, all we have to do is take our knife. We're just going to go all the way through like so, following that bone. And then we come over here, and all we have to do, we should be able to just snap it like so, and finish our cut. Just like that. Okay? So now we have our primal. Okay? Well, no, not quite. We have to separate that picnic ham from the pork butt. So to do that, all we want to do is look for the shoulder blade, which is right there. That's our mark. We're just going to take our saw, and we're going to cut through here like so. Once we get through meat, we don't want to cut with the saw. We want to use our knife. There's a little bit of shoulder there, so we want to go ahead now and take our saw and cut through that shoulder. And again, go through just like that. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have here. These are our primals. We have our picnic ham. The best way to remember the picnic ham is smaller. You'll take it on a picnic. You have here the butt ham, also known as the shoulder. Okay. Here we have the ham. Here we have the belly, which we're going to later on we'll take those ribs off and we'll make bacon out of this. Here we have the rack where you can cut chops if you want. Here we have the loin, which is only really about that big, and then the sirloin, which is down on this side here. That's what we're going to cut it up into today. So these are our 5 primals, and the rest will be fabricated throughout the slow food menu.